literally what in the world is going on with this world. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pitchfork Fiber podcast. My name is Hunter, and this is episode 16. I'm coming from you here in Chicago, Illinois, where I am quarantined to my house, and it's pretty crazy these days. I was inspired to come on here today, first of all, because it's been a while since I've podcasted, and there's been a lot of stuff that I want to keep you up with, but also I've been really inspired with all the love and support from the fiber community, the knitting community out there, and I think that it's, while we're sitting at home kind of either working from home or tending to children at home or whatever it is, we're getting a bit, I find that I get a little bit restless. So having people, podcasters, influencers, celebrities, anyone, musicians, putting out content for others that they enjoy to watch is just, I think, is wonderful. So I decided to make a podcast today, kind of fill you in with what I've been doing, what I'm up to. But also, this is kind of like I hope everyone's safe and healthy out there as well, because it's serious. COVID-19 has really taken over a lot of people's lives, not just sick people's lives, but people that have, I'm working from home. I'm really not supposed to be going out of my home unless it's for groceries or medicine. And that is just kind of crazy. So I'm going to try to keep this positive and light, because I think that is what we all are here to do, is just be positive, supportive, and let everyone know that our community is one that's loving. And with that, I think we should get started. As some of you have seen, I was recently on as a guest on Christy Glass's YouTube channel for her Manch, which is the month of March, and it's celebrating men who knit. And I was so fortunate and humbled to be a part of her network and to be interviewed by her, because she's just such a radiant personality. The way you see her on YouTube or Instagram is how she is in real life. And I think that, it's so special when someone is so authentic. So that was really lovely to spend some time with her. It was crazy. It was the weekend of Stitch Up Chicago, and there was so much going on, and she put aside, 30 minutes or so to just chat with me, and it was a lovely conversation. We got to go through some of the stuff I made. So if you want to go check out that interview that's on her channel, on Christy Glasses, I'll leave a link below where you can go and click on that. Take a look. There's so many other really inspiring videos that she does, along with other men that maybe you can check out. So that, first of all, I think I had to shout her out for that, because that was so exciting. Let's see, what else? I feel like there's been so much that has happened the past, I think, 4 months since I've last podcasted, or something like that. I mean, I don't even know, but I have really gained a lot of my inspiring kind of mojo back. I can talk about this in a little bit, because I do have some things to talk about when it comes to knitting and making. But, and I'll talk about this in a little bit after, but I did get a new job, and that has really been such an amazing shift in my life. It's caused a ton of stress and anxiety to just kind of be lifted off of me, and I'm really excited that I can focus on work, but also have time to be creative and make. And that has been so important to me. And so I hope that in the past it was kind of a little crazy with just not knowing when I was going to be podcasting, because I was really just all over the place. I didn't have a schedule, but now that I have a really pretty consistent schedule, and now that I'm working from home because of this crazy virus that has kind of become a huge pandemic, I have a lot more time. So let me just start off. Why don't we start with finished objects? That's right, finished objects. I haven't had one of these in a long time, but I'm very, very, very excited to show you this one. The Waldstein Sweater. And it is amazing. I mean, look at this. This sweater is so beautiful. It is so squishy. It is definitely the best fitting sweater I've ever made. So let me just show it off a little bit because I'm so proud of it. This is a worsted weight. Worsted, I think it could be Aran, but I use worsted weight sweater. Excuse me, my goodness. This is a worsted weight sweater. It is worked not top down. It's worked bottom up. So you start down here, kind of you start with this bottom edge, working the color work. You work all the way up, and then you stop right here, the underarm, and then you work both sleeves from the cuff all the way up to the sleeves. You join in the round, and then you do the color work yoke, and then you finish with the ribbing around the neck. Really nice. I have only made one other sweater bottom up before, and it's not complete. So I was a little bit hesitant about doing this because I was afraid of just size and fit and not really knowing, but I did swatch and I calculated everything, and I knew that if I knitted the way that my swatch should have been, it would be correct. So that was really exciting. I did make a few I made quite a few modifications, but they're all kind of small. But I did make quite a few. So this, I did a 1x1 tubular cast on and bind off for all edges. So I did that on see how this is a really cool tubular, works really well. So I did that tubular cast on for all of the top, all of the ribbing. And I did 1x1, which I prefer 1x1 versus 2x2 rib. I like the way it looks better. I knitted it I believe I knitted the gauge I got was the same. I used the same needles as the pattern called for, but I believe I dropped down a size, knowing that my gauge is a little bit loose sometimes, so I just dropped down a size because I liked the fabric. The next thing is that I did differently was in the color work. All the color work I did it's stranded, but there are a few times down here that it is 3 at a time, holding 3 at a row. And if you notice, there's a couple little flecks of color that don't create a chevron. Like, let me get a little closer. As you can see right here, there's this yellow one, which is in the green. This red one, which is up here. There's a couple little spots where the chevrons are not fully finished, and that's because I would have had to carry 3. And I decided to just not do that and hold 2. And then I was going to go back and just kind of double stitch over it. But then I kind of liked the way it looked. I also changed up this middle. There was something else that was supposed to happen in there, and I ended up just kind of switching it to be like this little diamond pattern. So it looks the same, it's just a little different. And then the neck was where I did probably the most modifications, and I added quite a few more rows in the back, short rows. I added short rows in both the ribbing. Why am I so close now? Oh my goodness. Whoa! It's been a while since I've done this, and I was just so close to the camera. I did short rows both right here in this white in the main color before the ribbing, and then I decided that I actually wanted more, so I brought it in, and then I brought those short rows not just in the back, but they came pretty far forward, so it wasn't open. It kind of sits closer around my neck, and the way that it fits is so perfect. I was really proud of myself, and also the way that this is written beautifully. It really fits so well, and the proportions work so well, and it's amazing. This yarn is my hand-dyed yarn. It is non-superwash, so it's 100% merino wool, and I dyed all of the colors up. I wanted kind of an off, like a creamy gray, kind of off-white. It's just a really beautiful, the colors are really true. It is just a super light off-white that's not creamy in like a warm tone, but more of a gray. So it's really beautiful. And then the other colors are kind of this mauve-y pink, wonderful golden mustard, a cayenne pepper kind of color, a really vibrant emerald, and then we have this turquoisey, oceany blue, and yeah, that's it. So it's really beautiful. I love this. I've worn it so many times already. I wore this in Christie's, in her podcast. So that is something that I'm really proud of, and I'm so excited to wear. So that's a huge one. Next up I have these. These are called the, I forget what the name is called, but I'll put it right here. These mitts are finished, totally finished. I just have to weave in the ends. I, for some reason, cannot find a darning needle anywhere. I mean, there's somewhere, I just can't find it. So I decided, I finished them last night. So yeah, so all they are is just a mitt. I'll try them on for you. It's a mitten where you have the option of folding the brim. It's kind of like a brim to make it more of like a full, so this is with it, unfolded. So it's kind of like a full mitten when it's colder. But I'm on a train, not currently, but when it's, when I'm not in quarantine, I am on trains or buses all the time. And so I'm on my phone, and it just is hard. Like, you can't really do anything in a mitten. So you can just roll these down, and they make fingerless mitts, which are so awesome. And then you can roll the thumb down as well. Isn't that so cute? This is a free pattern. Super simple. 40 stitches and twisted rib, split for the thumb, and then 40 stitch, everything just kind of, it's like literally so simple. Easier than a sock for sure. Very easy. Really cute. I also dyed up this yarn as well. And I'll get photos of these on my Instagram once I have the option of finishing this. But yeah, very cute. This is the color. Pretty, really good representation. It's just all over speckled, mostly pink, but really just like a rainbow of colors and speckles. Here is the ball of yarn that I have left. So really, I should weigh this, but I have larger hands than probably an average female, an average woman. So I would say that I got, there's quite a lot left here, and these are pretty big. So really cute. I like these a lot. just because they're cute. I don't know, I like them. They're really fun. Awesome, so that's done for finished objects. I mean, these are done. They just have to be ends woven in. Next, I'm gonna move on to things that I'm going to be making. I have a couple things that I've been planning. One of them, I've been wanting to make a sweater for myself out of this Burnett's Baby Velvet. I got this on sale at Joann's and it was 50% off, I believe, and this ball of yarn has 450 meters or 492 yards, and I have a lot of them because they were so cheap, and I thought, how fun would it be to make a like brioche or a rib sweater with like a pretty big mock neck, turtleneck, and just like super cozy because this is so soft. It's like velvet. The color is very up my alley. It's that, I just love mustard, and this isn't really mustard. This is like, I'm sorry. Someone's backing up in the alleyway outside. I'm thinking the brioche sweater by Stephen West could be a really awesome, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry everyone, the beeping, but whatever. The brioche pattern could be really awesome. I just am a little worried about doing brioche with the same color, just because I think that it would be a lot more confusing about what to do. I don't know. We'll see. That's that. Next sweater that I have in store is not for me, but for my boyfriend Matt. He is, for his birthday, which was in March, the beginning of March, just a few weeks ago, I told him that I would make him anything he wanted. And he is extremely knitworthy. First of all, he loves sweaters. He takes care of them and is just would look wonderful in a beautiful hand knit sweater. So I'm gonna make him one of those, and I decided that I would make him anything that was anything besides all over cable sweater, because I'm not doing that. So I went through Ravelry with him, and he picked out the Huron sweater by Jared Flood. It is a beautiful 2-color colorwork yoke sweater. It's Aran. It says Aran, but it's a worsted weight sweater. I'm knitting it out. I will be knitting it out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which, if you can't tell, I'm so excited. I've wanted to knit out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter for so long, just because of the colors, the tonality, the layers of texture. I mean, the stitch definition, all of it just is amazing. So definitely want to knit out of that, and I've wanted to forever, and now that I'm so excited. I ordered it and it should be here tomorrow, so I'm pumped. Colorways are going to be the Hayloft colorway for the main body color, the main color, which is that beautiful mustard. I like it, he liked it. He said either that or rust, but already has a rust sweater and doesn't have one in this kind of color. So I was like, well, I guess we're gonna have to knit with mustard yellow. And then a really off-white, beautiful cream color, almost like natural color work. So really beautiful. I'll post the photo. But so nice, and I'm very excited about it because it doesn't look very complex. It seems like it will be a quicker knit, just because it's pretty much a simple top-down circular yoke colorwork, section. So that's really beautiful, and I'm excited to get started on that. And other than that, really, that's all that I have planned for knitting. I have a lot more time to knit now that I work, and before I had such a crazy schedule that I never knew. Whenever I'd get home, I either had no idea when or how much time. It was like crazy. But now that I go to work, and then when I'm done with work, I have, the evening to just sit and relax, and I don't have, crazy hours of like working until midnight and like all this random stuff. I now have so much more time just to like relax, which makes me want to knit even more because that's relaxing and so meditative and enjoyable to me. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But also, from some of the responses that I received from some people from my Instagram and from Christy Glass from her YouTube, the interview she had, I've been getting a lot of questions about if I'm selling yarn or if I make project bags and stuff. And I used to tell people that I didn't, because I really just did it for myself. And it was a way that I could get what I wanted and be responsible for kind of like the outcome. Not that I didn't want to support all the indie dyers or the beautiful luxurious yarns, but I didn't really have the means of doing so financially at the time. And so now, with more people asking, if I dye and what I would do, I've been thinking more and more about it, and I think I'm going to start with just doing some kind of tests batches of some things, and we'll see what that means. So when it comes to yarn dyeing, I don't necessarily have the space or the infrastructure to have a dye, have an inventory of yarn where I dye up, tons of colorways on many bases and just stock a store and have people buy them. That's not necessarily going to be the most efficient way for me, and I live in a very small studio at the moment with no extra room, and that just isn't very practical. But I do think dye to order could be a really awesome possibility. With the people that I've asked, they definitely have requested like a certain amount for either a certain project or they were looking for a certain color, and I thought, I could totally dye to order, but I would have to kind of pick colorways. I'd have to like make some colorways first, and then I'd also have to I would absolutely be down to make whatever colors anyone wanted from a custom colorway or anything like that, but trying to think that through. And then the next thing were the bags, and I think that this would be a much easier way for me to start is by selling some of the bags that I've made in the past. And I wanted to just show you two examples that I have, and I'm thinking that I would probably be making 3 different sizes of project bags, small, medium, and large, and I probably would just make, since these don't take up as much room, I probably could make them and sell them on Instagram. That's what I'm going to try to do first. Depending on how that works, I might set it up with my website, hunteratha.com, which is my own personal art practice site. But I can add on a web store to that, so I might do that too, but all TBD. But this is just like for size. I'm thinking of doing completely different styles and colors, but this size would be a small. I'm wanting to do probably quilted, and I want to do hand-dyed fabric. So there'll definitely be, a luxurious thing, I'm hoping. So maybe by next time I podcast, depending on how far away that is, I'll have some examples. But yeah, this is just like a small bag, perfect for a sock, mittens, a hat, something really small, where it's just one, fully lined. So that's this one. This is one I made a while ago with some hand dyed and then some wax canvas. And then I have a large bag. This is a bag that could fit an entire sweater and multiple skeins. This one I love, but I have a UFO in here. It's been years. But this holds an entire sweater and yarn in here perfectly. So between this size and this size, there'd probably be a size in between it as a medium. let me know down below if you think you would be interested in maybe seeing some hand-dyed and quilted sturdy project bags. Because I would love to do something like that, especially in this time right now where I'm going to be at home anyways. I'd love to be making something and sharing that with all of you. I also, if you want or have any inquiries about something, yarn dyeing, anything, just hit me up on Instagram. I will much likely respond via direct message, and that's at pitchforkfiber.com. If you want to ask me any questions, anything, I will respond there. That's that. So that's that. The next thing I wanted to do was just talk about kind of what I've been reading. I like to do this as a segment of every podcast just because I think it's fun to talk about something that maybe is a little bit different from knitting and crafting. But I have been reading this book. I'm about halfway through. It's called Not That Kind of Girl. A Young Woman Tells What She Learned by Lena Dunham. Super random story about this. I won't go fully into it, but where I work now, we work with publishers and a lot of authors and whatnot. And so we have a huge wall of just tons of books that we have been given by either publishers or we have had for events and programs, but we just have extras. Normally they're the ones that there's more than there's 5 or 6 of them. And I saw this book, and first of all, the reason it drew me in was the type. I love this cover. I love the color. I love the font. It just was really striking. And then I looked in the inside, and look at this inside. I mean, first of all, this book is gorgeous. Look at this amazing paper on the inside. It's beautiful. That was the first thing that was amazing. And then it's signed by Lena Dunham herself. How fun is that? Super fun surprise. So I just took it from work and I'm reading it. And I'm over 100 pages in. It's a funny, cynical, and somewhat very deeply personal, intimate memoir from Lena Dunham. It is definitely a little bit graphic meaning it's sexually exploitative. It goes into deep talks about sex a lot, I guess. So if that's something that is not really your cup of tea, then I probably wouldn't read the book. But I do think that Lena Dunham is a character that's very funny. She is the producer behind and writer behind Girls, which was on Girls, is that Netflix? Not Netflix, Hulu, or I'm not really sure, but Girls, this TV show. She's just really funny, and I think that her writing style is really easy to read. It's very it's something that you read at night that you go to bed and you kind of just forget about it, which sounds bad, but it's not one of those books where you are deeply thinking about it for days and days, or hours after you're done reading. So I'm reading that, and then I'm also reading another book which a friend just lent me to read, which is called The Third Coast. It's basically about when Chicago built the American dream. So this looks really big. It's not really that big. It's only 300 pages or something, 350 pages, but started reading that as well, not far, maybe 25 pages in, but yeah, that's what I'm reading. Hopefully I'll get to reading some more books. I'm someone who starts a lot of books. Right now I probably have 4 or 5 books started that I just will read. I get really into it and then I stop because I just start reading another book, and then I'll pick it back up and I'll finish it at some point, but I have no real rush to finish or to get to the end.